You can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. The rich don't just delegate tasks, they actually delegate the outcome. 2 years ago, my husband fell, right, and almost died, right? I couldn't function, I couldn't do anything, but thank God I have my virtual assistant team. They run my whole operation. He said, poor people, okay, poor people use money. The purpose of the money is to pay bills, okay? Poor people, the purpose of the money is to pay bills, okay? Middle class people, they believe that the purpose of the money is to get good credit so that they can buy more things. Okay, have good credit, buy more things, right? Okay, think about it and then reflect about how you feel, okay? And sometimes your current situation and your current mindset might have a gap too. You might have to catch up too, okay? I realize that I have to catch up. I still have the poor people mindset a lot of time, but I want to be a rich person, right? And then he said that the rich people believe that the purpose of the money is to turn them into more money. Right? That's why they get into multifamily, right? Okay, I'm going to invest so that I can save taxes. And then the money, after I put it in there for a couple years, the money is going to come back. So he said, it's poor, middle, rich people. And what is your mindset? And who are you selling to? Who are you selling to? And this is also a really good one, right? Last year or the year before, I brought my mom here, right? And we travel around the United States. And she was really surprised. She asked me, hey, what's the difference between 3-star hotel and 5-star hotel? Because 3-star hotel have everything. Okay, 3-star hotel have everything. They have the free parking, they have the breakfast, they have a microwave, they have a big refrigerator, right? They got free internet, they got everything. But how come when we went to Vegas, right? The 5-star hotel, they have nothing. They don't have a microwave, you gotta pay for parking. I remember we want to get a thing of water for the kids to make milk. And it's $16 just for a kettle of hot water, right? It doesn't make sense. I was like, yeah, I don't think it makes sense too. At that moment, I was like, I don't think so. But then I realized because the 3-star hotel usually is going towards the poor people mindset, right? Which you want everything, right? And the 5-star hotel, the rich people, where they usually do not bring the leftover food, right? They don't mind paying for good parking, right? For the speed and things like that. So it's totally true different mindset. So the question for you is, who are you serving? Okay, who are you serving? Are you serving the rich or are you serving the poor? Because then your program have to be crafted very differently. Okay, have to be crafted very differently. Money definitely buy speed. And I went to Myron's 2-day event, right? And he actually got people to pay him $25,000 for a 2-day event. $25,000 for 2 days. I was like, wow, how is that possible, right? And how can I do it too? 6 months ago, I decided to sign up with this one of my best coach. His name is Myron Golden. He speak and sell on stage like crazy. He is about 64 years old now. I wanted to kind of see like how is the life, not necessarily at the end of somebody's career, but it seems like he got everything down. Like for me, it's okay. My business is only like 4th year in business. How does it gonna look like? How should I carry myself? So I literally jumped on the bandwagon with him. And I spent, apparently they say it's 2 Lamborghini, right? A house, right? A really nice house, about $350,000. And, but I really do think that it is really worth it because instead of maneuvering, like what is right, what is wrong, what is the right way of doing it, I'm just going to go straight to the source. And one thing that I really learned from him, everybody talk about modeling after success, right? Tony Robbins talk about it. Everybody's like, hey, nowadays, if you go into the social media world, they use actually the word steal, like steal from other people and just do what other people do. But then one thing that Myron actually talked about is you need to understand the principle, not just the analog. You don't just see what they do and just copy it without understanding it. Like an airplane, that's what he said, right? You need to figure out how, the engine inside of it, right? To make sure that why it will fly in the sky, right? And not getting defeated by the gravity and come back down instead of, oh, what is the color of the seats, the leather, right? The outside, the feature. So the visual is important, but what is really important is why are they doing what they're doing? And so Myron is a big biblical guy, right? Coach. And he did a lot with Bible study. And he really talked about that. And you have to really understand the principle, not just the analog, right? When you copy, you need to understand the why on copying what. And so I've been learning a lot from him. And again, I recently bought another course on top of his course on how to do social media. And I really thought that we got pretty dialed in, right? But I worked with this company where he got everybody to be super uber successful. And he showed us some of the profile that people are doing. And it was so simple. By the program, he guaranteed you 1 million view. He guaranteed you 1 million views. So he figured out the details of it. When he's doing his sales pitch, it's not about the people, right? What I can do for you, right? More of my time. What is the process, right? You need to do this, then you can get this, right? Or the product, right? This program is going to include this, that, whatever. He really focusing on the payoff. What am I going to get at the end? It was such a crazy illustration for me because I thought it's just me. Maybe I'm an emotional buyer, but he asked everybody on his stage, it's like, how many of you guys really know what I am delivering to you besides the one promise I gave you? And 90% of people raise their hand that they have no clue, even after they paid the money, on what he is offering. They just know that he will 10x their results. I was like, really? It's crazy. Because we're so focusing on this is what I can do for you. This is what the program is. There's a 2 coaching calls, 3 this, 4 that, 5 whatever. So you need to buy that. And he said, no, you need to focusing on that one promise. What is the payoff or the transformation that you're giving it to them? I was like, wow, that is super powerful for me because I am still until today, I'm still struggling with telling you what can I do for you, how much more time you're going to get from me. And when I bought the social media program, I realized that my mindset have shifted. I realized that I said, I don't want to do, because there are 2 programs that we could buy from 2 different coaches. One of them say, do 5 of this variation. So a total of 30 social posts to see which one works. This one say, I'm going to tell you this one thing that you do, and then that one thing will get you 1 million views. So which one would you do? Just tell me to do that one thing because I really do not like social media. I was like, oh, that's what people really want. They don't want to buy this 30, 40, 50 thing to try out and then figure out that one thing. They just want to do that one thing, but get the same result, right? It really makes me understand even more because he talked about the principle. On average, majority of my clients only have 1, 2 virtual assistant. The biggest one that we have so far has 10. Okay. But that's only that one person. I was like, what is the difference? Why do we not have as many people get more than 5? Because I know I'm talking about having 5 virtual assistant for the longest time. Okay. 5 virtual assistant for the longest time. So what was the difference? How come they are not doing what I am doing? Again, leave an example, right? Right now I have about 50 virtual assistant internally, and agency, we have about 300. And I'm just really trying to figure out how can I get my clients to get what I have. Again, I don't expect you to do 50, right? Expect you to do maybe 5. And I keep talking about this 5, about having an EA, having somebody to do your social media, get somebody to do your sales and customer service, get somebody to do your accounting, and then get somebody to schedule podcasts and Instagram and all that. And then I realized that, wow, the biggest difference is the mindset. And it's the poor, middle class, rich people mindset about time. Okay, time. Okay. You say poor people mindset, right? Is time is for surviving. Time is to trade. It's just enough to meet the immediate. It's not affordable. Like a lot of the clients that we initially get, they just let me have one first, right? And then they just stuck with that one. They never grow past the second and the third and the fourth, right? And I feel like maybe it's a commitment. And then you're still going to get into the overwhelmed, the reactive, the survival mode, right? And the belief is that very similar to money, right? I can't afford to let go and I am the best, right? And that's the reason why most of my clients consistently just by themselves. You know what I'm saying? We still cannot get out of that mindset. And we have poor people mindset, like poor in time perspective. Okay, poor in time perspective. That's why we're still going to be stressed. We're still putting out the fires. That's the reason why the company wasn't growing as fast, right? Like what I talk about in this community, the standard is if you want to make $1 million, right? That means that you are worth $500 an hour, right? $500 an hour. That means that technically it costs me $100 to do this, but I'm actually paying my VA that only cost me $10 because it's only taking him an hour to get this done. So it technically cost me $10 to get this PowerPoint done, but I might quote unquote spend $100, right, to get this done because if I'm trading it with time and money. Okay. So I was like, man, that is not the right mindset. But I never really know that there is this poor people, middle class people, and rich people mindset. But I went with Myron for 3 months so far, like literally go to every single event, he always talk about this because he said that actually deep down, we don't even know that is our problems. And obviously it's not our fault that we don't know because education system is teaching us poor people mindset so that we can consistently getting stuck in the loop and then paying the most amount of taxes and struggle. And then he talks about middle class mindset, right? Middle class time is for earning, right? To maintain comfort, and delegation is to stress, but not to create leverage. The result of it is busy but stable, but growth is very limited. It's still on safety first. So a lot of your VAs most likely is doing the very fundamental task for you, but you never really thought about, okay, what else can I use them to do other things? Make sure that you do not get your VA to be comfortable. When you are being challenged to do new things, they should be consistently being challenged to do new things too. So that way your company is going to grow and grow. But again, everybody's different. Some people just love to stay at the poor people mindset, right? Some people love to be comfortable at the middle class, right? Some people, it's going to be on the rich people mindset. To have the rich people mindset, to get as many virtual assistants as possible, because time is the only thing, right? Time is the only thing that you cannot buy back. If you spend more money, the money can be buy back. And again, a virtual assistant on average is about $10 an hour. The rich people mindset, just like what I talk about money, right? Rich people mindset is how can I use time to make wealth? How can I really use time and figure out a way to generate scalable and passive income, right? Like multifamily. And again, it is essential for the investment in is delegating to scale. You should really have virtual assistant who you hire. You might have a VA that you hire and they just sit and think, right? Monique actually have a thinking day on Friday for 6 hours. Right. And all she do right now is she's hired to think. What else can I do for boss? What other system can we scale? Right now, she is actually learning AI agents, right? I don't know about AI, but again, am I go learn it? No, because it's not worth my time at this. I'm really not good. Okay. I'm really not good at that. Right. But can Monique do it? Absolutely. Right. Obviously, Monique is much more expensive, but still, I can still at least get 25 hours of her time, figure out AI and tell me what it is instead of me doing it. And ultimately, the result is freedom, flexibility, exponential growth, right? Like the belief is time is asset, protected, multiplied. The reason why I have 50 virtual. And also, I wanted to share with you also that I receive from multiple virtual. Why? At the point now that my company is growing and moving, right? And we used to only hire C player because I was a C player entrepreneur. I don't know how to work with A player either. It can give me a lot of stress to work with A player VAs, right? So then company is slowly but surely to increase. So we actually have a lot of people that have quit on us because of the standard that we have raised. And some people just doesn't feel like we are, we're no longer well fitted. I have at least 3 to 4 people per department. So when this leaves me, I realized that my lifestyle have never changed. I'm still consistently learning. And then the people underneath me immediately hire, train, and fill in the gap. So it made me like slow down my momentum to get to the next level that I need to get. And I wanted to see how I can instill this rich mindset to you guys. How can you multiply more time? How can you get more VA, even if they are just sitting around and not do anything? I doubt that you could do that. I'm Asian. I'm very calculated about my money, and right? But because of that, do more things. Why is that only one virtual assistant? Is it because you have a poor people mindset? Is it because you have a middle people mindset? Do you actually have a rich people mindset? Are you still trading your time for money? Are you using your time to create wealth? Do you delegate for relief or do you delegate for results? Okay. And start acting as if you already worth $1,000. Maybe $500 is not that much, right? How can you start acting like you are worth $1,000 an hour? You guys know because of AI existing now, if your email have errors, people feel like you're more authentic nowadays. Surprise, surprise. If it's too thought, people actually thought that maybe it's AI generated is not as cool. So I really wanted to shift your mindset and say, okay, what can you start acting like you are worth $1,000 an hour? And just like what I say, if you want to make $1 million, you should have at least 4 to 5 virtual assistants. So I'm not sure which part will allow you to shift better. But the question is, how can you get yourself to hire 4 or 5 virtual assistants so that you actually will create even more tasks for them to do And by you delegate more tasks for them to do, right, that increase your profit margin and that increase your income just by doing that. Again, the thing that what Myron say, right? You can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. The rich don't just delegate tasks, they actually delegate the outcome. This is the part that you own. And then whatever tasks that come from that, it's all ultimately in charge by them. Instead of, hey, I need you to do this one thing, that one thing, this one thing, that one thing. And then at the end, you're like, no, how come they are like a VA robot? How come they are not doing more things? Because you're focusing on delegating the task, not necessarily just the outcome. List the 5 tasks that you're going to be delegating this week. Recalculate your hourly value, right? And hire or train someone to own the result and not just the task. What is the mindset block for you, right? To hire more, right? To multiply more time. Because I know I get the result by delegating almost everything out. The truth is, I don't even know how I get money nowadays. I just know that they're in my bank account. I bought another program for $35K because he said, I just think, and I'm going to get 1 million views. Than me going to learn Facebook ads and then Facebook ads every season, right? A lot of my friends, they spend $100K a month on Facebook ads. And the messaging has to be very dialed in. So to me, it's 35,000, it's a steal. And I don't have to do this and this. And I can get my VA to learn it and VA can make it happen for me. And a lot of them are very simple. I just want to really, really like share this with you because it really impacted me a lot about the rich people mindset, the poor people mindset, the middle class people mindset. I myself actually still catch myself sometimes that even though I feel like I'm at the rich people side now, right? It's just really where you compare yourself with. But I still catch myself to have poor people mindset. Oh, is this going to cost me more, right? Instead of how much can this multiply for me? And last piece I really wanted to bring up, I hear this from Myron Golden, from Tony Robbins, from John Maxwell, and Russell, actually, all 4 of them, okay? They're really focusing on their strength zone. When we first started as an entrepreneur, we wanted to in touch of everything. We want to make sure that we know what's going on everything. Am I right? That's why it's slower for us because we got to make sure that everything is dialed in, everything is correct. But after spending like 50,000 on EOS, I learned that everything should only be 80% good. Okay. 80% is the new 100%, right? If good and it can be done by somebody else, let it go, right? Because again, perfection is the lowest standard, right? One thing that they all have, if you ask Russell Brunson about HR, he will tell you, I have no idea who got hired, who got fired, what they need to fill out, when are they going to show up, what are they doing? I have no clue. All I'm focusing on is just sales and marketing, okay? Like copies, funnels, training the people. That's what she's really good at. John Maxwell, he said, I don't know how much money I have in the bank. You can ask my accountant. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I don't know how we get into this hotel. But all I am focusing on is teaching and train people to become leaders. That's all that I do. If you want to be a real entrepreneur, you need to get to a point where it's like you are so trusting your system and the process and you can delegate down and allow them to do the work so that you can really be 100% free flow on what you are doing. And obviously for me, I have proved to you over and over again that virtual assistant can do that. But whether it's virtual assistant, physical assistant, you hire a contractor, whatever it is, that if you're worth $1,000 an hour minimum, right? What are some of the stuff that you're going to give out even more? How many more people can you hire and invest so they can multiply the time so that they can do more for you so that eventually you have the rich people mindset, you allow the time to multiply with your time, right? And how can you think about how to scale and how to simplify your business even more than you doing the task, solving the problem, and getting yourself. I think that everybody should have 5 virtual assistants, okay? No matter how you map it out. The very first one is an EA, right? An EA that can really help you maximize your schedule, right? Maximize your time and your emails, right? How much more emails can they process? How much more, sometimes give them your bills, right? Get them to pay your bills, right? Get them to, maybe the goal is, hey, I need 5 appointments on my calendar every day. Right. So in that way, there's somebody that beside you that is focusing on that piece, especially if you're not an appointment type of people. I still consider myself as an introvert. So sometimes I will want to put 5 people on my schedule, but she would because I put that rule on her. Right. So she will do that for me. And now the second one, obviously, just like what I talk about, is social media. Right. Social media means obviously, besides not just that they're posting, what about engaging with the people? Right. hey, thank you so much for engaging in the post. What motivates you to do this? Can we schedule a call? Do you need any other information? Engage, right? And then tell them what I do, right? Because those are free leads that's coming through. And again, it costs time to do those things, but that's why you hire VAs, right? So then you obviously this VA will be lead generation, right, through social media. And they can go learn more skills. They can check out training videos and do more training videos for you, right? Whatever that is, to bring the leads in so that this person can schedule it. And then the third one, obviously, to me, is customer service or sales. I don't know about you. I do not like to follow with my clients. Even though I train money is in the follow up, right? Money's in the follow up, but I don't follow up. So what do? I set up a system for my virtual assistant to follow with all my clients until I get a no. And now what we do is whenever I have a call with our clients, we actually pull the transcription, pop it into ChatGPT, and we tell ChatGPT come up with a 30-day email sequence. And obviously we use our CRM, so they will schedule it into the CRM. So every day will be different until that client become converted. So it's not just, do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? And then my VA is sending it out. So that way conversion is higher because it's not just saying standard stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then the fourth one, usually what I really like, it's an accounting person, somebody that obviously for us, we have a lot of billings. So for you might be different, but I love a fourth person, which is doing reporting, who is a very systematic person. And usually these three people are more people person. So this person will drive them crazy because they'll be like, hey, you didn't do this. You didn't get that done. Hey, this form, you didn't fill out this last thing. So this person will get your company organized and then also do your bookkeeping, do your bill pay, right? Making sure that all your customer is paying out. I know some clients that they check strap themselves. And then sometimes when the transaction didn't fail, they didn't even know. And the number 5 that I wanted to share with you is business development, whether it's a website designer, right? A lot of them is, I want to go high level. I want to click funnel. I want a Kajabi website designer to consistently update my website, right? Let's say you're working with, for me, right, my VA business, we work with coaches, we work with a realtor, right? We work with salon owner. So they can actually create 3 different funnel, right? Because then the conversion rate will be higher, right? So then the 5th person that I have is you can get somebody to consistently email and research who are the best influencer in your field and how can you collaborate with them based on what everybody else is talking about, right? YouTube is definitely the number 1 thing that you want to invest on, right? And you wanted to figure out how to post more videos because YouTube means more views means more leads means more business, even if your business is no good. I went to Hong Kong and I was on this street and I recognized that they only have 1 restaurant there. Okay, they only have 1 restaurant there. The review is 1.5 star, horrible, but the restaurant is packed. I was like, how's that possible? It doesn't make sense, right? Because it's a tourist attraction, so traffic is just keep coming, right? So even though the food is bad, it doesn't matter. It's still always full house. What is that telling me? I was so focusing on the quality of my business that I have not been scaling and bringing in leads coming through. Not good, right? Like 25% of what you're doing. But the problem is they're focusing on the lead that's coming through every single day, right? And thus they got way more client than us. So what are we doing? We need to improve our lead flow, improve our traffic by either doing it yourself or getting a virtual assistant to do it for you. So that even though you're just doing it at a 75% capacity, but you have just a ton of people coming through, right, to take your thing. And I really realized that one of my biggest flaw at this moment is I don't speak up enough, but I need to do even more on social media, right? That's why I spend more money on social media at this moment to get my name out. Because if I get the leads coming through, no matter what kind of business I'm selling, the business will just run itself. And if you don't know what to hire your VA for, it's for lead generation. That's definitely number 1. 2 years ago, my husband fell, right, and almost died, right? I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. But thank God, I have my virtual assistant team. They run my whole operation. During that moment, I realized that it is extremely important that I have an automated business because at that moment, I only just have to take care of him. I don't have to take care of my clients. I don't have to take care of my business. I don't have to worry about finances. Everything just runs itself. And I want you to have that life, not just to reduce the stress anymore, not just to make some money, right? I want you to make a lot of money and again, also have a lot of freedom.